Hey guys, this is a little bit of a new area for me. I've watched the show Love is Blind. I think I've talked about it before, obviously, but this is a lawsuit coming out of that reality show. And so I've never done anything on that subject before, I don't think, here on YouTube. But there's going to be some people who watch this on replay, so I just want to say a couple things right out of the gate. Number one, there's going to be no spoilers for the show in this. I believe the first 6 episodes are out. I haven't seen all 6. I've seen enough, trust me. I'm not going to do any show spoilers. I'll do like a pre-recorded thing later on if I talk about the actual show and how this man, Steven, is portrayed in the show. But it's not going to happen tonight, just in the interest of like not ruining the show for people. Anyways, because it doesn't just involve Steven, right? It involves the woman he was talking to. So I don't want to spoil the show for fans of her. So second, if you're watching this on replay and you don't want to listen to the first part, because what I'm going to do is show the accusations that the woman made and the video that she put out there. If you've already seen it and you don't want to replay that, I'm going to put a timestamp in here after the live stream is over, where it'll show when I start reading the lawsuit document. And so you can skip to that. Also, you can just skim ahead if the timestamp isn't showing up and just look for where I have the document on the screen if you want to skip ahead to that. It won't take too much time for us to get there because, like I said, there's stuff within the show that I'm not going to talk about tonight. And also, I have some issues with the show's casting in general. This show has had a lot of problems with like really creepy and inappropriate men who, have a history of domestic violence arrests. At one point, one of the married couples, like the key married couples on the show, I think Alexa and Brennan, he had a history of arrests for domestic violence. And I'm just like, what the hell are you guys doing with your casting? But also there are other issues that you can't really foresee until the cast is announced on social media. So that's a topic we'll get into another time. But tonight, I'm just going to go over what was said by this woman on social media and then what's being said in the lawsuit. I will tell you right out of the gate, my personal opinion is that he seems like a bad guy. I believe what she's saying. I support her in her defense. Unfortunately, he has, filed this 16-count defamation suit against her. And if you're not a rich, powerful celebrity in this country and you're not in a criminal case where you're entitled to a defense, you sometimes can't afford to even tell your story as a victim of certain types of violence and abuse, because somebody can just sue you for defamation. And if you can't afford to defend yourself, whether you're telling the truth or not, it can further like ruin your life. And it's very, very sad. And I hope that this woman will do a fundraiser for her legal fees. I believe she has a story that's worth telling, and I believe that she should have a defense. So let's just get into how I found this story in the first place, which is on the Love is Blind subreddit, or one of them. I believe there's a couple, but hey, Jen, what's up? And thanks, mods, for being here. This is the one that I saw the original post had been shared on. Give me one sec. But I will do also the third thing I wanted to say for people who are watching on this replay. I will do a shorter version of all this in a video tomorrow. It'll be pre-recorded, but tonight I'm just kind of babbling on about this lawsuit. So spare with me if you want. Bear with me if you want, sorry, not spare. And we'll go from there. So, all right. So the first post that I saw, there may have been one before this, was this one here. It says LIB 10 contestant accused. And season 10 is the one that's going on right now. So like I said earlier, this guy's in the current season. So the woman, her name is Alicia. She has come out publicly. So her name is not private, but Alicia posted a story with Netflix's post for LIB and said, "My heart is literally racing and I'm shaking because this man came to my house and essayed me a few months ago. Awesome." So what happened is she had this encounter with this guy after filming already took place. And so now she's seeing his picture on social media promoting him, not knowing what's going to happen in the show, but just seeing that he's getting this platform, this national platform, is like very triggering for her, of course. And she, reaches out at some point to them and tries to say, like, hey, who can I contact about one of the men on your show? And like nobody ever responded. Anyways, she posted a story also that said, happened in May 2025. So that's less than a year ago, guys. I realized they probably won't even take me seriously because I didn't file a police report and people are just going to think I'm lying for attention, which I don't even want. I just wanted to at least share that he's a disgusting human being who can't take no for an answer and likes to film people without their consent. And then she has a notification here where it says Steven Sunday liked a message, so that's his account. She also wrote, I just don't want anyone else to go through what I did. I cried on the phone to my best friend the day after, and I processed what happened. If anyone has any questions or wants to share their experience, it will remain between us, of course. Please reach out to me, and thank you to everyone who has been supportive. And then here's a post from May 16th, 2025. I guess it says, here's me posting about it on my private account too. So I guess this is a private account. It says, trigger warning essay. It says, took me 20 hours to realize I was essayed last night. I hate knowing this happened in my own home too. Now I have to cleanse it. When men don't listen to me or what I want, it makes me feel so defeated. And in the moment I feel weak and like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So I keep letting it happen because I don't know how they'll react. I shouldn't have to say I don't want to do something more than once. I shouldn't have to be coerced. He also started recording me without my direct consent, and I want to puke. I feel degraded and sad today. And this was, like I said, May 16th, 2025. Okay. Here is the video that she put on TikTok. And I think there was another one that's since been removed. So I'm only going to play the one that's actually still there. And then we'll get into the actual lawsuit document. Can you guys hear that? Hold on. I got
to it. I'm the girl.
Hold on, let me start over.
I don't even know how to start a video like this, but I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm the girl who posted on my story about how Steven from Love is Blind Season 10 sexually assaulted me, and I commented on their post asking to talk to someone. I also want to say that I am not faulting the producers for having him on their show. It happened in May of 2025. After filming, there's no way they would have even known had I filed a police report. So just putting that out there.
And I'll say this, not filing a police report doesn't mean nothing happened. When I went through my own issues a long, long time ago, which I hate even talking about, I never filed a police report. I never even told my parents. I never, really told anyone at the time. I told people later in life, but still very vaguely, and only people I knew who would never say anything. So people who would, come out and say she didn't file a police report, that means jack shit. Would you say the same thing to me? Like people in my life, people who know me and know that I wouldn't make that up, would you say the same thing to me about not filing a police report? So just let's think about that, okay? If that's a doubt that you're having. I'm not saying it definitely happened because, a police report was filed or not in any case, but just saying that's not a reason not to believe someone.
I also just want to say thank you to everyone who has messaged me and shown me love and support and shown me that they believe me. You have no idea how much that means to me. It makes a situation like this feel so much easier to move through. And I didn't think that it would reach so many people, but I'm glad that it did. And I don't regret posting about it. And I will gladly put myself in this very uncomfortable position if it means I can prevent this from happening to another woman, if I can keep women safe from him. I have some screenshots of messages between...
The question is, would you put it on social media before filing a police report? I just did. I literally just talked about it, and I still haven't filed a police report, and I never will. Even after the man is dead, I probably still won't talk about it. Would I say something if I found out that other people were being abused the same way that I was? I would be very compelled to. Would I make a police report? Probably not. I probably don't want to be dragged through court if I don't absolutely have to. I'm just saying, man, there's a lot more to it than that. I know that it's very tempting to be like, well, you didn't do this or do that. Dude, I'm telling you, that is just not the way that it goes for a lot of people who go through some really traumatizing stuff. So not that I, think that you're trying to say anything offensive. I'm just saying, I'm trying to let you know my thought process here, which is I've been through the same kind of shit. So it's not that simple. So me and him and
my friends after it happened, and I will be including those as well. Steven and I matched on Bumble, and he gave me his Instagram, and we followed each other on Instagram for a while. Messaged very sparingly. When he came over and things started to get intimate, he asked me if I wanted to give him head, and I told him no. I had just got my lip pierced, and I don't want it to like get infected because it was just, like, healing.
And I mean, she'll go on to say something that makes it clear that she knows this, but just for people who are watching who have ever been in a situation like this, who feel ashamed about it, you never have to really explain yourself. You don't have to like give a reason for your no. No is a no. That's that. So,
although you never owe anyone an explanation as to why you don't want to do something. No is a complete sentence. Every single time that I would stop and tell him I didn't want to do it anymore, he would pretty much beg me. I would keep trying to pull away, and I would keep trying to stop. Like, I was physically resisting. He would keep pushing my head down. So I was frozen, and he eventually pulled out his camera to start recording me, even after I had told him that I didn't want to and that I wouldn't even consider it with someone that I didn't know. He pulled out the camera and started recording me with flash on.
So I'll say like this, when it comes to badgering someone into something that they've already said they don't want to do, she's not suing him or like going to the police and asking them to prosecute him for assault. She's just talking about what happened to her. He is suing her for defamation, which I don't think is going to be successful, in my opinion, but we'll see. I mean, there could be a lot that comes out later on. Maybe I'll, eat crow and turn around and apologize. My gut feeling is that's not what's going to happen, but it's possible. But she's describing what happened with him and how it was inappropriate and how it was wrong and how it made her feel, how it hurt. And it's not the same as like taking someone to court and trying to prove in the legal system that they did something like that. So it's not like he's being convicted of assault at the moment. I do want to point that out to people, but also like she's not saying necessarily that what he did here, pulling out the camera and like asking her until she said yes, basically badgering her until she said yes or said whatever, mumbled, and kind of like just let it happen. Like she's not necessarily saying that that was anything that needs to be criminally prosecuted. So I want to point that out. Sometimes the thing that makes you not want to tell people what happened to you is the fact that people will be like, why isn't this person behind bars, basically? And like, that's not realistic for a lot of people. The burden is very high for defamation too. So I don't see either of these people getting any like real legal consequences on either side of this. But somebody telling their story like this, not wanting it to be prosecuted, that's not necessarily an admission of like, what I'm saying isn't true. Not expecting that to be prosecuted, or not saying necessarily outright that the like kind of coercive type pushing, like not saying that that's necessarily a crime. That doesn't mean that there wasn't any misconduct, and it doesn't mean that it's not true. So yeah.
In my face, and I can't even explain how I was feeling in that moment. It was terrifying, honestly. And when I finally got the courage to pull away and tell him, I'm done, stop this, like I don't want to do this anymore, I told him to delete the video, and he asked me if I wanted to see it first, which was insane.
I mean, that's creepy. It's a creepy thing to ask. If you're like on the receiving end of it and you like did not want that to happen. IB says it's way more prevalent and most don't report it to police. Correct. Because especially when I was growing up, right? And I'm only 33. I'm not like old, you know what I mean? But when I was growing up and I was in college, you're taught that, people can just like push you into things like this. And if you say no and they keep pushing and pushing and pushing, you're taught that like, well, that's like, they didn't really do anything wrong if you're the one that caved. But like, no, that's inappropriate at best, right? Like that's not something that a lot of women would feel safe or comfortable with. And so she's well within her rights to come out here and talk about that and warn other women, like, this is what this guy's going to do. If you say no, he's going to keep asking. And whether or not they believe her is really up to them. But she hasn't committed a crime, in my opinion, by coming out and saying this. If she lied about it, that would be one thing, but I have not seen anything to lead me to believe that she's not telling the truth. Like I said, I'll keep an open mind to evidence, and I will absolutely 100% come back and say, oh shit, I was wrong, if I'm wrong, but that's not what my gut is telling me. So
after he left, I was just kind of feeling like gross and like degraded. And just kind of going over everything in my head and overthinking, and it just, I didn't walk away from the experience feeling fulfilled in any way. I felt drained. I felt like something was taken from me. And the next day at work, I was still thinking about it and trying to process, and I called my best friend during my break, and I told her what happened, and she was like, that's Alicia, that's sexual assault. That is not consent. He coerced you and he was forceful with you and he completely violated you. Later that day, I texted my therapist to make an appointment with her, an emergency appointment with her. And yeah, I was focused on healing from it, and I had just started a new job. So I was just focused on like filing a police report, although I regret not trying at least. It just was not a priority. Like I was just focused on healing and moving on from it. And so I just hope that I just block him and I never have to see him again. A few days ago when I'm on Instagram, I see his face on the Love is Blind Instagram.
and I think the rest so far is kind of history. So we'll get into the actual document here. But if you want to watch the rest of that, of course, you can go to the TikTok account I was just showing you. I'll post a link to it. I'll post a link to the website they've made as well. Hang on. Which is, I'll like show a flash of it. I'm not going to go over the whole thing tonight. But hang on one sec. But yeah, she's like told her story here. After he sent cease and desist to her, she kind of held her ground and she's made this website. And so if you want to go look at it, you totally should. But I'm not going to go over that tonight, just in the interest of brevity, to be honest, because I don't want this to be a 3-hour live stream. So hang on. And like I said, I'll do more on this stuff later where I talk about the actual show and stuff like that, but I'm not going to spoil the show for anyone or anything like that. No. All right. So here's the complaint. And it says it's 59 pages, but actually a lot of it's just exhibits at the end. So that helps. Let me move on down here. They're talking about their background a little bit. Steven, got his degree from OSU. Blah, blah, blah. I think that's not really important to what we're kind of looking into, so I'm not going to do that. Steven met Alicia when they matched on a dating application, to wit, Bumble. Okay. That's not the one where... So for me, it's a little different. Is that the one where women have to message the guy first? Because like it's when you're both the woman, it's kind of like, I don't know. If that's a thing, but I've heard that if you match with a guy on Bumble, the woman has to send a message first. Am I thinking of the right app, Bumble? I'm not sure. Somebody will have to let me know if you guys know in the chat, but all right. Anyways, Steven met Alicia when they matched on a dating application, Bumble. The parties chatted on Bumble before exchanging their Instagram usernames. The parties then used Instagram for all further discussions. Okay. On October 17th, Alicia sent a message to Steven via the platform as Instagram as a reply to a public post of his with the comment, LMAO, this is literally right across the street from my house. Okay. From October 2024 to May 2025, so that's what, 7 months. The parties exchanged messages via Instagram on an irregular basis, with the correspondence becoming more frequent around May 11th, 2025. And hopefully you guys can see this. I know the text is a little light, but I can't fix it. So yes, Bumble is women message first. Okay. Got it. Okay. It's May 11, 2025, when Alicia asked Stephen to visit her at her apartment, stating in her message, okay, come over tonight. Got it. The footnotes here are just mostly just talking about acronyms, which is, we all know what TN means tonight. And then also LMAO, we all know what that is. So, all right. Stephen did not visit her on May 11th, but they continued to message. On May 14th, she sent another set of messages requesting he visit her apartment, with her stating, hey, hottie, and this weekend. Okay. And mind you, guys, this is the original legal complaint. There's been no response to this. So this is going to be very one-sided, but I do feel like it's important to go over it all. All right. Stephen did not visit Alicia on May 14th, but they continued to message. On May 15th, Alicia and Stephen agreed to meet, with Alicia sending the following message. And then there's a screenshot here. It says, LOL, for real, my apartment is cute and cozy and no expectations / pressure. Of course, we can chill or do whatever feels good. Should be a relaxing time after a busy day. Okay, whatever. Straight people talk like that, I guess. Anyways, the parties continue to message, with Alicia subsequently sending the messages, ha ha ha, I know, just playing hard to get. And there's always a no bra policy at my apartment, though. Okay. And these messages, you know, sure, it's like something you would send to someone you're planning to hook up with or want to hook up with. It's not necessarily an invitation to do what he did, right? But, or what he's accused of, I should say. He's accused of, right? Because, you know, there could be more that comes out that makes me feel like differently, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he had permission to do what he's accused of, but it is obviously it's obvious that they were, you know, flirting with each other. There was a mutual kind of attraction there. All right. Later that same night, Alicia sent another message. Do you have a certain time in mind? Maybe 10 to 10:30. Just want to make sure I'm ready for you, which is followed by the message, is 10 okay, or is that too late? Right. Okay, I understand that some of you guys are fine with people coming over after 10 p.m. I am no longer in that area of my life. So Godspeed, everyone, if you're still doing that. But you hear how I text. What? How's it going, man? Anyways, let's see. Stephen arrived at Alicia's apartment at or around 10:30. She opened the door. They engaged in various social discussions for some time until their exchanges began to become more intimate. They began to kiss and fondle each other, with Alicia being located on top of Stephen, straddling him. Guys, if you've watched any of my recent content with the lawsuit over It Ends With Us between Blake and Justin, you know how much I hate reading stuff like this. Like it's like reading a Colleen Hoover book. It's like, this is so fucking cringy. But all right, I guess we'll read it. Just give me a second here. Anyways, Stephen and Alicia began to kiss and fondle each other, with Alicia being located on top of Stephen, straddling him. Thank God nobody's licking cookie dough off a spoon. If you know, you know. But anyways, here we go. Prior to beginning any sex acts, Stephen and Alicia had discussed recording their sexual acts together. The parties agreed to have Stephen record the activities. So her version of events is that he kind of forced her into this, or at least did not get explicit permission to record. And his version is they agreed to record. Now, the recording in and of itself, I don't know if it's necessarily, I don't know if I could say it's like a crime to record someone without them explicitly saying yes versus them not saying no. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's a crime. It's certainly bad behavior if you don't get an explicit yes to do that, right? And it's wrong in my opinion, because, you know, we're all here listening to my moral soapbox, which is, you know, whether or not you agree with it depends on the day, I'm sure. But it's, in my opinion, it's bad behavior. It's wrong behavior. And I agree that other women should know that he badgers people into this, apparently, because if they're not comfortable saying no with men, then they should know that, you know, this is not someone you maybe want to get involved with. But is it legally wrong for him to have recorded that? I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you that. Maybe someone who is in the chat who is like law experience could tell you that. So basically he didn't get a yes. She did say no a couple of times, but she didn't explicitly say no the last time, I guess, is what she was getting at here. So it would most likely be actionable and probably a crime. Got it. Okay. Huh. 100% illegal to record inside private property without their consent, whether or not sexual acts are occurring. Gotcha. So I'm like very confused about the actual laws around recording and like the explicit, like finer details of that. So that's why I'm confused. I'm like, okay, so if she said no, and then he asked like a fourth time, and she was like, well, and then she didn't say no, that's not really a yes. Like that's bad, right? But I was kind of curious as to whether or not that was legally actionable, I guess is the, yeah, okay. Got it. Okay. Anyways, you're filling our minds with smut? Oh, God, don't blame me, bro. Anyways. Okay. So we got a little he said, she said with the parties agreed to have Stephen record. She says she did not give explicit consent. He says that they agreed to it. So that's, you're going to have to use your judgment there. All right. Thereafter, Alicia began to reach at Stephen's pants and belt buckle, and Stephen assisted her in removing his pants and undergarments before she began to engage in fellatio. Okay. During the fellatio is just not a word that I use in my everyday life, guys. God. This is worse than reading a Colleen Hoover book because it's like something nasty stuff people actually did without someone's consent, apparently. So just give me a minute to... Oh. Okay, anyways. During the fellatio, Stephen began to record Alicia's acts on his cell phone's camera using his phone's flash to illuminate the recording. Okay, the recording is a minute 47 seconds, apparently, before being turned off when she says she is done performing. Okay. Stephen verbally acknowledged that Alicia stated she was done and put away his phone, ending the recording. After ending the recording, he immediately pulled his pants and undergarments back up, covering his genitalia. Thereafter, Alicia asked if Stephen would like to engage in sexual intercourse or if he would like to perform cunnilingus on her. Stephen verbally declined to do so. Well, if you have watched any of the season that Stephen is in, I'm not surprised that he declined to reciprocate. Let's put it that way. Anyways, like she said, this wasn't necessarily consensual. He kept pushing her head down. He says it was consensual, and this is what happened. Again, lots of he said, she said. You got to use your judgment on whether or not you think he's telling the truth or she is, I guess, at this point. So, Stephen and Alicia continued to engage in miscellaneous chatting on unrelated topics for some time before Stephen left Alicia's apartment that night at or around midnight. In total, he was present at her apartment for about 1.5 hours. Therefore, no additional contact between Stephen and Alicia occurred. Okay, well, the silver lining in all this, if you've been paying attention to anything else that I've ever covered on YouTube, is that no twins occurred as a result of this blowjob. That is not always the case. You came in, hey Omar, what's up? All right. Lauren, say fellatio a few more times. Fuck you. I hate you. Give me 1 sec. IB says, so Stephen is selfish sexually per his own legal document. Apparently, yeah. That is apparently what he's saying. So, yeah. Chris says, oh, it was at her apartment. Then, yeah, super illegal to record her if she's saying she did not give permission first. Gotcha. So, again, it all comes down to, like, whose version of events, I guess, you believe. Like I said, I have no reason not to believe what she's saying, so I kind of lean to the side of she's telling the truth. But, you know, everybody has to form their own opinions here. I'm just kind of reading the document to you and spitting out my own opinions. But, you know, everybody kind of think for yourselves. But yes, that is what she says, and I tend to believe her. So, all right. Anyways, no additional contact occurred after that. Facts giving rise to plaintiff's complaint. Let's see. On January 27th, 2026, which is just a couple weeks ago, right? How long ago was that? Let me see. Yeah, like a little over 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. It was announced via the social media account of reality TV dating show Love is Blind, right? That Stephen would be featured on their program. Okay. Later that day, she made a post on the social media platform Instagram using the account Gold Dust Mystic. In her post, she defamed him by including a photo of him with the caption, "My heart is literally racing, and I'm shaking because this man came to my home and essayed me a few months ago." So what they don't mention here is that she actually commented on this post that they made where they announced him being part of the cast. She actually commented on that and said, is there anyone I can talk to regarding this man that you've cast on your show? I have something concerning. Who can I talk to? Basically, like, no one responded, which is not that surprising, I guess. I don't expect a lot of reality TV shows to be very diligent in that regard. But with their history of casting issues, and if you guys don't know, like I said earlier in the stream, I think Brennan, one of the kind of main guys in one of the earlier seasons who got married to Alexa, had a history of domestic violence conduct, a legal history of that. They cast him. There was another couple in another more recent season that they had to edit out entirely. Like, it was a married couple that got married on the show or whatever, or at least I guess got engaged. They didn't get married. But they had to edit them out entirely because the woman said that the man was abusive towards her, and committed, acts of misconduct. And I won't get too much into that right now, but they had to edit that couple out of the show entirely. And I'm like, this show has a problem with some of the people they cast. And some of that's preventable and some of it's not. So it just depends on who we're talking about, I guess. With like Brennan, that was preventable, right? With Steven here, maybe not, because they didn't even have that encounter, I guess, until after the show had already filmed. But she did comment on their social media account and ask if there was someone she could talk to, and they didn't respond. So, all right. Anyways. Okay. We saw that part. Throughout the day on January 27th, she continued to make more posts defaming him, going in chronological order. Her second post stated, "Sorry for the trauma dump, but I did not expect to see this man on fucking Love is Blind, and I need people to know that he's dangerous. I feel sick." Okay. The third post states, "I just wanted to at least share that he's a disgusting human being," and we did read that post in the beginning of the stream. So the fourth post was a screenshot of a post of her face that she alleges to have posted on May 16th. So that was shortly after their encounter, on her private account, stating, "Here's me posting about this on my private account too," with a large TWSA, which we know what that means, but is written across the center of the image. The following text and relevant part is located at the bottom of the image. It says, "Took me 20 hours to realize I was essayed last night. I hate knowing that this happened in my own home too. Now I have cleansed it." Okay. All right. We already read that, so I don't feel like I need to read the rest of it. The fifth post by Alicia was allegedly posted to that same account on May 16th with the added text, "More proof I didn't make it up, because he's on TV or whatever, that helps," with a screenshot of his social media profile. The text that was allegedly included at the time of the May 16th post was, "This is him, by the way. I am even more certain that he's a piece of shit now, considering the fact that he unfollowed immediately afterwards." Right, yeah. Okay. On January 31st, she also posted a video on her TikTok account, to wit, Gold Dust Mystic, wherein she made additional defamatory statements, which include, and we watched the video before we started reading this, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing here, but all right. Let's see. On or about February 5th, she posted a second video to TikTok wherein she made additional defamatory statement. Okay, so this was, I guess, a different video containing some of the same information. Or no, like I told you guys, one of them was removed. So we can't watch the one that was removed, but I did show you one of them. Okay. Every single time that I would stop and tell him I didn't want to do it anymore, he would pretty much beg me, and I would keep trying to pull away, and I would keep trying to stop like I was physically resisting. He would keep pushing my head down, so I was frozen, and he eventually pulled out his camera to start recording me, even after I told him that I didn't want to, and that I wouldn't even consider it with someone I didn't know. Right. Okay. So there's this second video here where they're talking about another woman said he did the same to her, tried to roofie her. He tried to get her to drink the drink he had given her. Right. So this man is going around Columbus for at least 9 years, since he was 23 or something, and attempting or succeeding in roofing women and recording everything. So these women in question, she's going to have to provide some more information there. She's not alleging that he showed people the video correct. I don't think so. I haven't seen that, at least. I have not seen that. Whether or not that comes up in a minute, we might find out. But I haven't seen that allegation, no. Okay. Upon assignment to the judge, Stephen shall supplement his filing with complete recording, blah, blah, blah. Alicia made another Instagram post wherein she posted another image of Stephen with the following caption. Okay. Just a reminder that this man is a disgusting well, we know what that says, arpist. YouTube doesn't like when I use that word, and I have to stop using it now. But I hate censoring my speech. But who not only uses coercion and force, he also drugs women and he records it. What happened to me isn't even the worst of it. He's genuinely a dangerous predator and has been going around Columbus for at least 9 years doing this. He does not deserve a platform to be on a dating show of all places. Please don't forget, the show airs in 5 days. Let's keep being loud about this. I'm positive more women will come out after they see him on their TV. And this is all very new. This lawsuit was filed 2 days ago. So we're kind of just learning about this. I hadn't heard about it before tonight. This post is less than a week old, but apparently some other woman had come out and said, yes, he tried to roof me or whatever. I don't know who that is. I haven't seen any content from that person for the record, so I will leave a little bit of room there for, maybe it's not what it sounds like, but I don't know. All I have is the information that I'm being presented with at the moment. So she says that he's a predator here. These are pretty big statements. He is suing her for defamation, like I said. These are pretty big things to come out and say. After he sent her a cease and desist, she continued making these posts. And that to me is kind of like she's standing totally on her ground and she's fully prepared to like fight this out, it sounds like. And I don't know much about her or what her situation is. This is not a public figure. She did come out publicly and make these claims within the last couple of weeks, but this is not a public figure. So I couldn't tell you, like, I don't know what this woman's financial situation is or anything like that, which is why I said in the beginning of the stream, people don't usually come out and say stuff like this because they don't have the means to fight defamation lawsuits like this in court. I mean, she sounds like she's really going to go with it, man. Like, I don't know if there's going to be a full-fledged, trial or anything like that. We'll have to wait and see how it goes, but she like fully committed and said like, fuck your cease and desist. I'm going to keep telling my story and fuck you for what you did to me, basically is what's going on here. So she was warned that a lawsuit could be coming and she was like, you know what? I believe in what I'm saying. I am telling the truth. I'm going to keep telling my story. So that's kind of how we got here to where a lawsuit is actually filed. So give me 1 second. Okay, that's sus AF. Do we know if these other women are real or not? Are they confirmed real people or just accounts writing about it? I don't know. I really can't tell you much about that. Because like I said, I just learned about this stuff tonight. I will say though, that if I'm somebody who has been threatened with a lawsuit and I'm like, fuck you, I'm telling the truth, and other people have come forward and I know like I have this stuff to back up my story, I wouldn't put their names out there. Even if somebody came up to me and like was like, thank you for sharing your experience. This is my XYZ experience with this person. I wouldn't blast that person for sharing their story with me on their Instagram stories, saying like other women have come up and said this or other women have come out and said this. I don't know if I would necessarily put their names out there. I mean, it's for those women, I think, to tell or to eventually testify if it comes to that. But I don't know. I don't want to put too much weight on that, I guess is what I'm saying. Because I could understand either way why you would want to include names and why you wouldn't. So I don't really know. Like I said, the woman who came out with this was not a public figure. So I'm assuming the people that she's been talking to are also not public figures, but we'll see. All right. Do you have the complaint and can you send it to me? Yes. Mods, can you give MLS my email so I can email him this document? All right. On or about February 6th, Alicia posted a third video making additional defamatory statements saying I'm talking about Stephen Sunday. Yeah, she basically said his full name and all that. So like I said, she's not backing down on this. Alicia's February 6th TikTok video was at some point deleted, but then subsequently republished, right? Without the in-video caption referencing Stephen by name, but she has now included Stephen's name in her written video description, which currently states, dude really thought he'd get away with this. Not on my watch. This is about Stephen Sunday from the new season. A screenshot of this video and caption is attached. Aside from the caption, the re-uploaded video appears to be otherwise identical to the deleted video from the prior day. In the original and re-uploaded versions, Alicia made additional defamatory statements, including, I just don't understand how someone can have the audacity to be a sexual predator for at least 9 years and then go on a TV show. So it sounds like she's talking to someone who I guess has some experience with him. Whether or not she can back that up, I don't know, but that is her claim. So online, at least. No one is gonna, see you and be like, oh my God, that's the guy from the bar that one time who tried to roofie me. Okay. Got it. Or that's the guy I caught recording us without my consent. Okay. Upon assignment, he'll supplement the filing with the video. Got it. As of 10:12 a.m. on February 9th, that was the day before the suit was filed, Alicia had 3 publicly visible videos posted which contained defamatory statements regarding Stephen on her TikTok account. These 3 videos had the following view counts as of 10:12 a.m. on February 9th. I guess it was approximately close to 1 million views, I guess, on the first video, close to 3,000 on the second, and 924, less than 1,000 on the third. So that's, as far as TikTok goes, that's not that much. But at the same time, almost 1 million views, I guess, is, if you're saying she's not telling the truth and if you're accurate in that, I guess that's disturbing. Yeah. Okay. I could see that. As of 10:12, she had 2,270 followers. Okay. And collected approximately 175,400 likes on her posts, which is not very much. So more than I have, probably. I mean, I don't pay attention, but to my TikTok very much, but not very much, nonetheless. I'm not I'm not a big social media person outside of YouTube, so I don't really have much to compare it to, but it sounds like not very much. Okay. Stephen discovered Alicia's social media posts were being widely shared by other users, including influential individuals who report on news events related to reality TV shows. Okay. Stephen has also discovered her defamatory Instagram posts had been shared on Reddit. Right. That's where I saw this stuff at the first time, was on Reddit. So on February 8th, through counsel, he served a C&D, right, which instructed her to immediately cease posting defamatory statements. Okay. As of the filing of this complaint, neither Stephen nor his counsel have received any correspondence from Alicia regarding this matter, and her defamatory statements remain publicly visible on Instagram and TikTok. Furthermore, it's been discovered that she has also made multiple posts on February 10th, which was 2 days ago, yep, with the first defamatory post being made at around 11. We read this one before. It says, LIB season 10 premieres tomorrow. Let's not forget when we see this man on our screen that he's a serial orpist who drugs women, uses coercion and force, etc. Okay. The second post on February 10th, let's see, encourages the spread of her statements, asking people to share, repost, interact on TikTok so we can reach as many people as possible before the show comes out. So she knew that this lawsuit was probably coming, and she decided to double down. Let's put that out there and assess that as you will. Alicia has no meaningful information with which to support the negative statements she communicated regarding Stephen. So the thing about this is, when you're in a lawsuit and your back is against the wall and you're like, I have to defend myself with all the information that I have, she may come out with this stuff to support her narrative. When you're on social media and you're just trying to speak out against this man, and you don't have to necessarily provide personal information of other people who have come forward with this stuff to you, like maybe you don't do that, right? I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see what her response is, because like I said, the lawsuit was just filed 2 days ago. And we have no idea what her side of the story is in regards to a lot of these accusations. All we know is that what she said on TikTok, basically. All right. As Alicia has no meaningful information to support the veracity of her statements, these communications are malicious and calculated measures taken by her to irreparably damage Stephen's reputation, both personally and professionally. Okay. The negative statements relating to Stephen that she communicated are false and were made by Alicia with conscious disregard to the truth. Right. So that is, again, like I said, that's their claim. She'll have a chance to respond to that and defend herself. But this is their side of the story as far as the lawsuit goes. They're the ones who filed it. So her communication of false statements has negatively affected his community relationships. Let's see. Career as a finance professional. I believe he was suspended from his job. So it's true that there has been an effect. That's definitely true. Damaged his ability to participate in promotional and or related media activities pertaining to the show. Right. So these are the counts. We got defamation per se from May 16th post. And I think we don't really need to go through all of these counts because we read everything that's going to be referenced in them, but has communicated to about 40 people via her private account that Stephen assaulted her on May 15th. So the day after the alleged assault happened, she posted on a private account to 40 people. So that's presumably like a close family and friends account that she only has for people that she's close with. The count one of defamation is for making this statement to people on that private account the day after their encounter that he assaulted her. Okay. That's again, that's going to be a lot of he said, she said. So I don't really know what to think. All right. On or about May 16th, she communicated to at least an unnamed friend of Alicia's and Alicia's mental health counselor that Stephen assaulted her. So communicated to an unnamed friend and her mental health counselor. I don't think anyone should ever be punished legally for what they communicate to their mental health counselor. I think that's a lot. Maybe MLS or someone else, Omar, if he's still sticking around, could explain that one. I don't think that communicating that to your mental health counselor that he assaulted you is defamation. Someone help me out with that one. I mean, there's something I really just am not understanding about defamation law or whatever, but like I don't get that one. What's the question? The question is, he's saying she defamed him by communicating to one friend and to her mental health counselor that he assaulted her, and this was the day after the alleged assault. Communicated to the counselor or whatever. That's weird. That's weird to me. All right. Is that normal? Does that count as defamation? I don't know. Defamation is communication of lie to a third party. So in theory, it could be defamation, even if it said, okay, gotcha. Okay. What if here's my thought. What if she really what happened to her and she's communicating with her therapist as she's supposed to, says this man sexually assaulted me. And then he comes out and says, no, I didn't. And it doesn't meet the legal definition for sexual assault, but she said that to the therapist. Is that legal defamation then? Because she believed what she was saying to her therapist. This is a hypothetical. I'm just very curious about how that would work, I guess. Communication to any third party counts. I mean, that kind of sucks, dude, because that actually breaches into what you can say to your therapist, or what you believe happened to your therapist. I guess the issue though, would be that she said publicly that she told this to her therapist. So I guess that's the actual problem, not because otherwise the therapist isn't going to come out and say yeah, she told me this, because the therapist can't do that, right? So I guess I'm just getting confused. All right. Depends on the nature of the words. Okay. I mean, my understanding, I guess now is the problem is that she publicly said she communicated that to the therapist, not that it happened within their session, because then how would he know otherwise? So, all right. Anyways. The statement made is false. The defamatory nature of the statements is manifested by the very words spoken. As such statements accuse him of engaging in the unfathomable act of assault of another person. Further, the statements allege an indictable criminal offense involving a moral turpitude, tend to disparage Stephen by reflecting unfavorably upon his personal morality and integrity, and the very utterance of the false statements presents a substantial risk of injuring Stephen in his professional career and financial profession. And if it turns out she's not telling the truth, I mean, he can obviously kind of show how that affected him, right? He's currently suspended by his job, and I don't know if he'll be able to be included in any sort of promotional material with the show now. I have no idea. But it seems like it wouldn't be that hard to prove. But that's a big if. It's if she's not telling the truth and he can prove that, right? So I don't think we really need to get through the legal jargon on all of these, because a lot of it's going to be the same language repeated over and over again. And we've already read all that stuff. So let's see. Okay. Repeat and reiterates everything contained, blah, blah, blah. Communicated that he is dangerous. Okay. So yeah, this is all going to be stuff we just read above. They're just laying it out, each count. Give me one sec. No, that's not actionable. That's not defamation. Man, I don't know, guys. Give me one sec. Okay. Then we also have MLS says if she said he did this and then I said that and it was true, and it's not defamation if she said that, then she would have to convince the fact finder that it was SA, or it could be defamation. Huh. Okay. All right. Anyways. I'm going to move past the counts here because it's all talking about stuff we've already read. And we'll get down here. Like I said, there's 16 counts here for defamation. Prayer for relief. He's asking for $25,000 or in excess of $25,000 for each and every of the 16 counts alleged herein, together with pre-judgment and post-judgment interest. Okay. Punitive damages in excess of $25,000 for each and every of the 16 counts. Okay, so that's what, like 400,000 here at least. 400,000 here at least. Okay. Enter a judgment for preliminary and permanent injunction against defendant and all persons acting under her control from any and all activity that would cause the publication and or republication of the false and defamatory statements. Gotcha. All right. Award plaintiff his reasonable attorney's fees in the cost of this action, the extent of which will be proven at trial, and award plaintiff such other and further relief as the court deems reasonable and just. And then there's some stuff down here as far as the exhibits go. I think these are messages between them. They're the ones she was describing, or he was describing. This is literally right across from my house. He has blocked her now, as you can see. Okay, that's kind of not surprising, but interesting. He's deleted all his messages, which I find odd. Huh. Actually, you know what? I think I found an article about this. Let me see if I'm thinking of the right one. It's not that one. In one of these articles I read, it said the show encouraged him to delete all his messages, which is fucking weird. Let me see. Yeah. All right, let me see. We'll go back to the document in a second, but this was from some local Ohio paper. I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I copy pasted it because it was a paywall and I wanted to be able to sign it later. I paid the $1 to get like the limited subscription to read it, and then I canceled it. So Love is Blind contestant says show told him to delete messages. Okay. According to the lawsuit, Sunday says Watts first reached out to him by replying to social media posts. Okay. Screenshots of conversations were included as exhibits. They communicated through Instagram, right? The screenshotted conversations do not include his responses, which the lawsuit says he deleted after being selected to appear on Love is Blind. Stephen was advised by a member of the production staff to begin deleting all message histories wherever possible, the lawsuit says. Stephen complied with this advice and began deleting messages as a regular course of business across nearly all of his messaging. That's fucking weird to me. Even if he deleted it, saved somewhere in the cloud, and we know Cellbrite knows all. Yeah, no, yeah. They can definitely recover that stuff. I sent you an email. Okay, cool. I'll send you this document as soon as I'm done here. I'll be done shortly. So, no, they can definitely find his deleted messages in Discovery and the deleted videos in Discovery, I think. Especially because it's been like posted on Reddit and stuff like that. As far as his messages that he deleted, that's really sketchy. To me, that the Love is Blind staff would be telling the contestants to delete all their messages. I don't know. If you have conversations where you've deleted all your messages, that to me makes it sound like you've been kind of weird, right? Like, because you can put any interpretation then into the to fill in the blanks. That's fucking creepy. I wonder if he still has the video. I believe he does. It says that once a judge is assigned and all that, like they can provide copies of the full videos. So I believe he does have it. But yes, even if it was deleted, I believe they can get that stuff. That's weird that production would say to delete messages. That's really fucking weird. Yeah, because even if a lawsuit came up like this, it's like, what are you going to do? Throw production on the bus? And then now all of a sudden it's like, well, production knows they might be casting creepy guys, so they tell them to delete all their messages. That doesn't make production look very good. So I feel like that's kind of weird. I feel like production might have a little to say about that, you know? Anyways, I can't really make much of these conversations now that I know one side of them has been deleted, because he literally could have said anything. That's sketchy. So yes, for the purposes of a lawsuit, That stuff can be pulled in discovery, but like, this is weird. This is really weird. It's giving Laura Owens. I don't like that. Yeah, I don't know what to make of this from his perspective. Like, it's just icky to me that they would delete. Ew, you know. And this is just screenshots of her posts after she found out he was on an LIB. We've already read them. Some of them we saw before we started reading the lawsuit, but I'm really caught up on this. The fact that he deleted all of his messages, like, that's really fucking weird to me. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So like somebody who asked, can he provide the video or if he still has the video? Yes. It's like video file to be supplemented. So they will submit that. They have it. They just don't have it right here. And then also, as far as like getting these documents off of the docket and stuff, I don't know how that would go with video evidence. This is from a court in Ohio. So I don't know how that would even pull up. If it would be like a separate file or what. But this is the only thing of substance that I saw on the docket, probably because this was just filed 2 days ago. And they also have a prospective date set for, I think it was like February 27th of next year, if all goes according to the plan they've laid out. I don't know how that changes when a judge is assigned, but that's what it looked like. So, okay. And then it's just showing her posts about him, which we've already mostly seen, the Reddit post. We watched that video already. And then it shows some posts about him after she made the statements, and there's somebody talking about it, like that kind of thing, I guess, to support the reputational harm claims, right? And then here's some people talking about it. I'm not saying she's lying. I just couldn't imagine taking a cute selfie after being ARPed. And while accusing someone of ARP, dude, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you that's illogical, because obviously I feel like that could be confusing, right? But also, people do things that don't make sense after stuff like that. So I couldn't really judge at that point. Let's see. Okay. And then here's his notice of suspension from work, showing that he's been suspended. So harm has been done, basically. I found some law on communication to therapists under Ohio law and emailed to. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to do another video on this tomorrow where I will include some other stuff that kind of relates to the show that might spoil it for people. That's why I didn't want to do it tonight. No spoilers, because this is a current season that just came out, so I won't do that tonight. But also just talk a little bit more about the casting with LIB and the history of problems with casting and some other stuff. So to be honest, it's not hard to believe that some scummy reality show producer gave him shady advice to delete messages. It's ill advice, but those producers be shady as fuck. Reality TV show producers are evil puppet masters. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. And when I go over the clips from the show that I want to talk about tomorrow, as much as I think the guy is creepy as fuck, I can also show you guys where I think some of it's like Frankenbitten, because I feel like they do make him look a lot worse with editing in ways that are, if you're really looking closely, very obvious. My overall opinion of the man is that he's a creepy guy and I don't like him, right? But you can see where he's edited in some ways that I'm like, I'm not sure that the producers are telling an honest story about what happened here, if that makes sense. But like I said, I don't want to spoil the show, so nothing tonight about that. We'll get into that tomorrow. But all right. Anyways, thanks everybody for popping in, especially to my mods and my friends, Omar, MLS. Thank you for popping in, and for Chris. And I know I'm forgetting some people, IB, who are usually here. But sorry if I forgot to call you out, but I appreciate everyone being here, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. This is my first live in a while, but I wanted to do something a little new, just see how it goes. So, all right, thanks guys. Talk to you later. Bye.